Give it up for the very funny Monique Moreau!
Give it up for everyone here. Yes, I forgot the host name, I'm sorry. I know it's beautiful though. I was like, what a beautiful name, but I forget it. Oops. So I've known Carl Hess for a long time, the last comic, and I hadn't seen him since the pandemic happened. And when he came up to me, he was like really confident and he was like, hey, what's up? And I got like scared for a moment because he looked so different and his mustache was like, oh God. And I was also like, yeah, maybe you should get out of this state. Actually, my reaction for a moment was like, ew. I'm just kidding. That would be so mean. But I do have a story about that. I broke my foot last year. I broke my toe, like 2 of my toes. I dropped a big platter on them. It was really stupid, like a giant plate. And the plate didn't break, but my foot did. And I waited a little while. I was like, I think it's fine, even though it was like disgusting. It started getting blue and big. And I went to urgent care. I was like, they can't fix this. And this guy walked into the room, and he was my age, like mid-30s, and I was like, oh, here we go. A fucking idiot. I don't know why. I was like, a doctor who's my age? Oh my God. And he looked at my foot and he went, ew. I was like, what? He was like, that is like really broken. I was like, why'd you say ew? He was like, it just does not look good. And I was like, okay. And he didn't even do anything. He was like, take some Tylenol, it'll go away. Okay, great. And I was telling my friend this story, and he's a surgeon, and he graduated high school with me. And we were having Thanksgiving dinner, and he brought a cake. He's Canadian. He didn't know what he was doing. He brought a cake to Thanksgiving. And he was like taking the cake out. Like I told him the story, he was like, I would never say ew about your foot because I'm a surgeon. We deal with a lot of disgusting crap. But then he was taking the cake out of the carton. The whole time he was going, ew, 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 ew. I was like, what? That's disgusting to you? Millennials should not be doctors. That's what I'm saying. They don't know how to not say you're disgusting. Anyways, so I was at Sprouts the other day with my husband. You guys like Sprouts? Yeah. Man, people are way more into Sprouts than when I say like Trader Joe's. But anyways, yeah, I know. What's wrong with everyone? But we were just outside of Sprouts, and we were like getting ready to get out of the car, and he was like, aren't you forgetting something? And I was like, I don't know what. And he was like, he did this hand motion. If you can't see it, it looks like he wants me to jerk him off. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, are you forgetting this? And I was like, no. What are you, use your words, please. And he was like, you're forgetting the reusable bags. And I was like, how is this reusable bags? I was almost going to divorce him in that moment. But then instead I just jerked him off right then and there. Yeah. He was like, I don't know, that's such a weird response. He did not say that. So when I was growing up, my grandma, she liked to kiss me on the lips. Did anyone have a relative who kisses you on the lips?
Weird.
Yeah. No one wants to say yes. No one wants to be like, me. But my grandma, she would visit me, and she would be like, come up to me and be like, oh, my little girl, and she would kiss me on the lips, and I would go like this the whole time. Natural reaction. And my mom saw this, and she was like, next time your grandma comes over, she's going to kiss you on the mouth, and you're going to act like you like it. And I was like, okay, I don't want to get in trouble. And so my grandma came by the next time, and she kissed me on the lips, and I was like, grandma. You kiss so good. And then she never asked me to kiss her again. It worked. It worked so well. I said in that last joke that my mom, when I was in trouble with my mom, she was like kind of a scary person. And when I grew up, I was like, my mom can be so mean sometimes. And I got a new vocabulary. I was like 14, and my mom, she restricted me from wearing sandals without socks for some reason, which was so stupid. And I was like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna take my socks off when you're not looking. And she's like, you're gonna be grounded. So stupid. And so she said that, and I was like, Mom, you're such a cunt. I know, right? And I was expecting right when it came out of my mouth, I was like, she's gonna slap me or something. But instead she was like, oh, what does that word mean? What is it? Cunt? And I was like, yeah, it means like when someone's being really like rude to you. That's what it means. And she's like, oh, new slang that I learned. She really bought into that. Like, I don't know how she never saw it. She grew up in Africa. Maybe that's why she never heard it before. You guys are like, you're not black, what the fuck? She's not either, don't worry. Don't worry, what the fuck did I say? I was like, I mean worry. No, that's wrong either. Okay. Anyways, she did not know what that word meant at all. And so then years passed, and then when I was like 30, she called me and she was like, hey, remember that word you said years and years ago when I was being rude to you? And I was like, yeah, cunt. And she was like, yeah, what does that really mean? And I was like, oh, it's the worst word you could call a woman. It's terrible. You should never say it. And she was like, oh, great, because I've been calling a lot of people that over the years. And I just called my pharmacist that, and I could never go back there again. And I was like, that's for the sandals with socks thing. You dumb C word. My dad's bi. Give it up for my dad. Some people are reluctant. I don't know about that. He's bi, but he doesn't know he's bi, which is weird. And how I know this is when I was a teenager, I was like, Dad, I was confused, and I was like, Dad, is everyone attracted to both genders? This was in the thousands. And my dad was like, yes, everyone's attracted to both men and women. And then he said, at some point in your life, you're gonna have to choose to be straight. And then it was a couple of years later, I was like, wait a second, he's bi. That's not how this works. You're not like, actually, I would like to have a very standard lifestyle and not challenge anyone. I'm gonna be straight, me. So my dad did that, and I called my brother up, and I was like, hey, has Dad ever given you a talk about being bi? And he was like, yeah, he told me that when I grow up I'll have to choose to be straight or gay. And he was like, I still remember the day I chose to be straight. I was just like, man, I have a little bi family. That's so cute. If only they knew. My brother did marry a woman, so he's lame. Though, it's just because he's my brother. I don't know why. I'm like, he would be so cool as like a gay dad. But he's like just a lame, straight dad. You'll meet him. I'm just kidding. So my brother, this is kind of a weird story. We're adopted. And my mom's Indian from India, and I'm Native American from Native America. And that makes me the world's only Indian. You know what I mean? I'm like embarrassed to say that joke sometimes. I'm like, But when it's weird, I used to date Native men exclusively. It's just where I grew up. There's is either really ugly white boys or like super handsome natives. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna date the handsome native guys. But they have a habit of calling you cousin, like when you make out with them or whatever. It's like really weird. I'm like, they're like, hey cousin, you wanna hang out? We could make out. I'm like, oh, gross. You could be my cousin. I'm adopted, I don't know. And I asked my brother this. He was like, I said, have you ever fucked any of your cousins? And he was like, yes. But we're not related. So that's the hardest thing about being adopted, not fucking your cousins. Either the ones you're related to or not. So I have a joke. This is my last joke. And it's about Everest. Do you guys love Everest? No one does. It sucks for rich people. People go there to die. Hooray for them. And I found out that no vegan has ever made it to the top of Everest and lived. Did you guys know this? There was a time in 2016 where one woman went and she died. And then like all these vegans were like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the one to get to the top of Everest. And then they would die like so easily. They would make it like a quarter of the way up and then just die. They would perish. And people in the audience afterwards were like, I'm vegan and I could probably do it. I'm like, no, don't try. I don't want to be responsible for you dying. But here's the thing about that joke. There has recently been one guy who did it not once, but twice. He got to the top of Everest and he's vegan. And good for him, right? Yay. But he took 5 Sherpas with him. Like, do you know what a Sherpa is? It's the guy who helps you up to Everest. Do you know what a Sherpa really is? It's an ethnicity. It's a group of people. They're like kind of slaves because people underpay them. And I'm like, he took 5 of them? I don't think slavery is vegan. That's not how that works. No. Anyways, I'll leave you with this quick one. I found out that Everest was named after Sir George Everest, and a white guy. And he was the first white guy to see it. But I thought it was named after how big it is. Like most mountains go on forever, but this one goes on the foreverest. Right? Why is that not what it is? All right, thanks guys.